He was a train wreck when he first came here, just a hot mess. Little by little, I just saw God get a hold of his life.
My name's Tom Welch. I'm 37 years old. My addiction started at 13. I was in several youth rehabilitation centers, which took me to DJJ, which took me to wilderness camps, which eventually took me to prison. My drug of choice was meth. I'm in a house in Clinton, South Carolina, and I hear a train. And I just knew I need to get out of that town. So I packed one bag and I went out to the tracks, and the train zoomed past at first, but then it came to a stop just maybe 20 yards away from me. The last time I used was right before I jumped on that train. I didn't have anything else to use, even if I had wanted to. I made it to Columbia. I jumped off of the train. After walking around for hours and hours, I made it to a bus stop bench on North Main Street. And a guy named JD was there from Providence Home that was a resident at Providence Home at that time. And he just looked at me and knew where I was at with it. And he knew I was tired, and I'm sure positive he knew I was in addiction. And he just said, he didn't even ask me any questions like that or anything. He just said, "Are you tired? Are you tired of this life? And do you really want to change?" And I said, "Yes." And that's when he told me about Providence Home.
I can remember when he first came here, he would come to my office almost every day. He expected me to just have hours to spend with him, oblivious to the fact that there was 50-something other guys here.
Ron is actually the one that went and paid out of his own pocket to get my birth certificate, my Social Security card. They helped me get a job at McIntyre to get back and forth to work.
Eventually, he would start going to church with me at Northside every Sunday, and that's when the real breakthrough started to happen. You could just really see Jesus getting a hold of his heart.
Why did I decide to hire Tom Welch? All I can tell you is there was a persona about him or his whole demeanor. He came in and he sat down and we went through the application. He filled it out. And what really just touched my heart was he says, "Debbie, I'll work any hours for you want, but I've got to go to church on Sunday." The Lord didn't come down and speak to me, but there was just a connection that I can't explain it. And so we tried him, and he's wonderful. He was on the mower one day, and try to cut back my emotions here.
That was the first time that anyone had ever, since I had been clean, that's the first time anyone had ever directly offered me any type of anything.
Tom was mowing, hot day, and a guy offered him a beer. And Tom says, "No, I've been dry for almost 2 years, but thank you."
And I just remembered how the strength, how many times in 20 years that I had tried to do that on my own strength, but never got that result. And I remember just how blessed I felt to be able to say that.
Tom went down a little bit further, got off the lawnmower, got on the ground and thanked the Lord that he could say no and bypass that.
My name is Adelaide Welch and I'm 15 years old. I didn't think he was going to change. I never thought, personally, I would live with him.
The issue was I was just caught up in addiction, cared about getting high and myself more than anything else. So I didn't get to talk to her for probably 10 years.
But overall, I'm really proud of him because not a lot of people who start drugs can get out of them, especially who've been in drugs for that long. So I'm proud of him for being able to turn his life around.
If I had a son that had a daughter, I would want my son to be the Christian example and the good father that Tom is trying to be to her.
What we do is going to involve some heartbreaking stories sometimes. Everybody's not here for the most noble of reasons, but when someone really comes that needs this program and applies themselves, that we can trust that Jesus is going to accomplish what needs to be accomplished in their heart.